guys, welcome to episode 20. Super excited to have Derrick and Mike back in the house today. Derrick, what's going on?
Yo, what up? What up? What's good?
Yo, nothing much. I'm so excited to have you guys back because people really loved the last episode that we did together. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say. Mike, what's going on?
What's poppin'? What's poppin', y'all? What's poppin'?
So you guys will remember these two from the last episode, which was the turn-offs one. We're gonna be doing the opposite of that episode and talking about attractive qualities in ladies. So let's get started. Derrick, let's hear your number one.
Jeez, why we gotta start with me, man?
Listen, we gotta keep it spicy. You don't know when I'll turn to who. So
We gotta keep it spicy. Man, the last one, ain't nobody sliding my DM, so I don't know this. So we gotta
Derrick, are you trying to say that you're still single? Is that like a personal ad?
and not a personal ad, I don't know. I ain't a shameless plug like that. Like, come on. But anyways, my first one, in terms of kind of attractive traits in a lady is I just I like a woman with good teeth. Like just good, just and this might be um a little superficial, people would say these days, but I just appreciate good dental hygiene. I just good teeth. So
So what does
that's
that
my
mean
first one.
when you say good teeth? Do you mean like straight teeth? Like explain what that means because that could mean like
Listen,
white teeth.
I think we know what bad teeth look like. Like,
No,
just
because you said someone with good oral hygiene, right? And you can have like teeth that aren't straight, but you clean them and they're good teeth, no cavities.
straight and white.
Oh, okay, got you.
And then the other side of it, the things you don't see, definitely good dental hygiene, right? Not I think like we talked about on the last episode, like bad breath is like a turn off. So the opposite of that.
Gotcha. Okay, we got it. How about you, Mike?
I agree with Derek. I was gonna say that's my number one as well. I think at a certain level you have to level up. You know, so having straight teeth. Um, I know it's hard to keep it white because it's expensive, but just having straight teeth, making sure the bottom row doesn't look like a chainsaw.
Oh my gosh.
Not a yo, dog.
I won't say it's superficial because it's similar to the same. Uh, how would I say it? Same way girls be like, oh, if you're not 6 foot, sometimes if your bottom row is not straight enough, you just can't talk to me.
Dang. Oh my gosh, the way you put it. So, does it matter? Because I feel like people can have good teeth, but some people just don't smile. Do you guys include smiles in this good teeth thing?
Oh
Or you
yeah,
can have good teeth
sure.
and not smile.
Yeah, but that's different.
Okay.
I see. I was gonna say smiles next, smile next, but if you want, you can use Derek's teeth, and I'll say smile. I see teeth more physical, smiles in the sense of it's not more physical. It could be in the way of just like smiling is different to me. The You don't have to have a good smile, but if you smile, it does basically enhance the mood.
Oh, okay. So it's more of like an energy thing for you then.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay. I like that. Derek, what's your second one?
My second one, and this is kind of moving away from the physical, is I'm personally attracted to not well. Let me preface that with I'm a Christian man. Um, I'm African from West Africa, Ghana. And I say that to say I appreciate traditional gender roles, right? I appreciate the man being the protector, the provider, and the woman being the nurturer, right? I appreciate that. So I think with that said, I think a quality of a woman that I really enjoy is just women with high feminine energy, right? Not, ain't really trying to be, they want a man to take care of them. Right? They want a man to take care of them. They want the doors open. They they want the doors open. They want their nails done. They want their nails done, hair did, and they want a man to make sure they want a man to make sure that man pays for it. And for me, I'm good.
Oh,
I'm good with that. Right? The internet would probably say you simping these days, but I'm good with that because the other side of it is when you do these things, it's also it opens up the space for this security, right? It saves space for the woman to do these more what people would say submissive things, right? Man, if it goes hand in hand. So and you can't have it both ways. So I think I really appreciate women with this good, hot, feminine energy. Just want to be cute, and
Ooh,
I'm with it.
okay. I see you. And so curious, you said the whole nails and hair thing. So are you telling me that like in the past in all your relationships, you've always paid for people's nails and hair?
That's cap.
I mean, I ain't say I did that in the past, but what I
Wait,
can
Mike,
count,
did you say that's cap? Is that what you said?
He ain't doing that. He's a smart guy.
yeah. No, I wouldn't say I paid for hairs and nails, and I think realistically, I don't think women I've dated in the past have actually asked. But one thing that I will say is I don't think not probably nine. I don't think I've ever been out with a woman, or 99% of the time I would never split the bill, or I would always cover the bill. Always cover the bill, and I don't
Okay.
care. Unless maybe she says that, hey, I just want to take you out for a treat. But I think I don't know, splitting the bill uh, personally it's weird to me.
Gotcha. And then can you clarify what this nurturer thing means in
Um,
your opinion? Like when you say a nurturer, what does that look like?
what does a nurturer look like? You know, how do I phrase this? Um,
Do you want
yeah, I think
somebody who babies you? Is that what that means?
not no, not baby. I don't think baby's the word. But I think it's more so like respect, right? And
Okay.
that comes in various shape and forms. But I think when we talk about nurturing, it's hard for me to articulate, but I think it's more of an energy thing, right? Yeah, I think it's more of an energy thing, and it's hard for me to put into words. But
Okay.
when it
Yeah.
comes
No,
to me, I will share.
okay. And the reason why I was asking is because like when I hear nurturer, my mind goes to like say like taking care of kids and stuff. So I wanted to understand what it meant in this context. But I guess I can also see it say in the context of a relationship if it's more of like, I don't know, let's say like you're hanging out with Mike and your girl's there and then she's like, "Oh, like are you guys hungry?" Right? Like just checking in. Like that's also kind of nurturing
Yeah,
characteristics. Yeah, yeah.
It's nurture.
Okay.
yeah,
That's a
yeah,
nurture.
like yeah. No, I think Michelle. I think that's it. Yep,
Okay,
that's spot
cool,
on.
cool. I like it. How about you, Mike? Let's hear your next one.
I'll probably say intellect.
Oh,
So
that's good.
Oh,
I'm a big sapiosexual. When you're talking to somebody and you're having a conversation, eventually, if you leveled up yourself and then you're having conversations that are on a different level, you don't want to have the same conversation that you were having at 16. And I'm not saying women do this. I'm just saying the type of things I would want in my woman. So I would just like girls to be up to date on what's going on about life, what certain job roles are. Because there's so many times, and I told people I'm a software engineer, and they said what, and I just said okay, cool. You know what I mean? But
oh, and they don't ask you, like they don't probe you with
yeah,
questions.
eventually I say I'm a coder, and they be like, oh, so you do stuff with computers? You can hack? It's like I said, I'm a software engineer. You know what I mean? If you want
See,
to,
these money guys, man. Michelle's these money guys, man.
and I don't expect the world to know, but I'm just felt if you have to keep up to date with certain livelihood things. Because if I were to ask you what is Megan Thee Stallion's newest song, you're gonna be like something something, and you're gonna tell me it. You're gonna recite her lyrics too.
Right, right, right. Okay, okay. So you want depth in
Yeah,
conversations,
it goes
essentially.
it's vice versa. You know what I mean? It is so that's how I see it. And in terms of like communicating, most of the time when you see intellect, it all goes hand in hand with communicating. So you can see if the girl you're talking to can articulate her feelings or her emotions, expressions. So that gives
Mm,
you a good sense of, oh, I could be around this person. She's a good time. She's funny. She's that.
okay, I like it. I'm actually curious on the whole intellect thing, right? Because you mentioned that you're sapiosexual. So if a girl is high on the intellect, but she's like medium or not that cute, like would that change how you see her?
Honestly, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. Most of the times, is gonna change it. Yeah, it is because the first thing you look at is her attractiveness. So I'll keep it a stack. Men, the first thing we look at when a woman is her beauty. That's one thing that's there. Her beauty, if it's there, then she's approachable. Second thing I would say is you go speak to her is her teeth or like or her hygiene. You know, if she's talking to you and her breath stinks, then third is all like if she can speak, she's cool. That's her personality kicks in. Because personality, people be like, oh, I like a girl for personality over looks. You won't see personality until she starts talking. You know what I mean?
Right.
Her
Uh-huh.
beauty, the physical aspect of herself is what you see. So that's what you approach. So it would change something. But I'm just saying, if someone is intellectual, that enhances, you know, your rating for them.
Gotcha. Okay, okay. That makes sense. So to me, it sounds like because intellect is not the first thing you see in someone, right? Like you would only find out if they are intellectual if they've already checked the boxes of like, okay, they're cute. Then maybe you can pursue a relationship when you think they're cute and then they've got the brains, right?
Yeah. Like
Okay.
intellectual is very subjective as well. It doesn't mean that you have to be up to date with life's thing, but you do have to be enlightened. You can't be the same way you were at 20
That's good.
or 23. You know, every year you have
Mm.
to learn something new. Because I think life is about learning. And if you're still in the same way, you're not actually helping yourself out.
Oh, cool. I like that. I think that was very solid.
Yeah, and Michelle, just to add, like, just to even chime in on that, I think I think Mike is spot on, and it's funny because, dating right now, I have this theory going that like, there's three things that makes a partner that makes a partner ideal, right? There's three boxes that you really have to check, as you go about dating, and the first one is attraction, right?
Hmm.
Attraction is all the things, is all the physical, external things that you see. Is like one, am I even attracted to this person? And does that, can you check that box? And the second thing is interest, right? Is okay, now that I've checked this box, I had one or two conversations with this person. Are they interested enough? Can they hold a conversation? I think that's where Mike talks about the communication component of it. Because some people are, some women are really pretty. Some people are, men are really handsome, but you have a conversation with them and it's obvious. It's like, oh, nah. Even just the words you use, like it's just like it ain't it. And the third thing, which I think we tend to overlook a lot, is compatibility, right?
Okay.
It's compatibility. And compatibility is like, yo, yes, this person is attractive. Yes, I can have a conversation with this person. But when it comes down to it, when this person is being their authentic self, and when you're being your authentic self, do you actually align? Can you actually coexist? And even though you've checked these first two boxes, sometimes it's just, you're just not a match, right? Based on
Hmm.
how you were raised, based on cultural influences, based on how you were socialized. And it just doesn't work. And it doesn't make the other person a bad person or you a bad person. It's just, just not compatible. Right. And that's, and that's okay. So just to say, yeah, and I think, that'll probably help people. That's an approach, a theory that I have. Right. And I think,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think it makes, at least it makes sense to me.
It makes a lot of sense to me too. Just like the way you broke it down, right? Is essentially like there can be interest and attraction, but if you're just not compatible, there's no point in pursuing anything with the person because you're just gonna butt heads all the time. Like there's really no point. So it makes a lot of sense to me.
Right. And the thing that we miss is all three boxes have to be checked, right? You
Hmm.
can't say that, hey, I'm interested in somebody, so eventually at some point I'm going to be attracted. It does, or you can't say I'm attracted to somebody, so I'm going to build up my interest level with them. Or you can't say that, hey, we're compatible, but like I'm not, but I'm not really attracted. I'm going to get attracted to them because what happens
Mm.
is we accept the unchecked box until we find somebody that checks all the boxes.
Ooh, ooh, that was deep. That was deep because it sounds like it's kind of like settling at that point, right? If you're doing less than three of those boxes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
solid.
my
Okay.
next my next one is confidence. I'm attracted to confidence, and when I say confidence is, it's just energy, right? When a woman walks into the room and you just pick up on her energy and if she's confident, just how she walks, how she talks, what she's wearing. And this translates to kind of, fact that everybody knows that I'm attracted to women who have short hair, like bald, low cuts. And I think it's less of kind of the physical appearance and more of like, to me, when a woman walks in the room with short hair, it's just like, yo, she's the baddest in the room. I don't care how much makeup you got on. She's the baddest because she's confident.
Oh, wow. Do you know what? from the last episode that we did together, when you mentioned the like a woman who's bold thing, I actually just thought it was like an aesthetic, like you just like seeing that. But tying it to confidence, I'm like, okay, I can see it. Because yeah, it does take a lot of boldness and courage to like cut off your hair, right? And I feel like, yeah, like you said, it also shows confidence. That's really cool. And I like what you said about the way she walks and the way she talks. That's, I think it puts very solid examples to what you're saying.
Yeah, big I don't know if we, big D energy. I don't know if we could, say these
Is
words
there
on
big
here.
D energy for women? What is that called?
I don't know what it's called. I don't know what it's called for women. It's
Don't
just
they call it a boss? Don't they call it a boss B?
Oh, a boss B? Oh, maybe that is boss B energy.
boss,
True.
yeah, boss the energy. And still humble. She don't gotta say a whole lot. She just know that when she walk in here, bro, she's that. Like that's it.
Like the energy shifts. I'm curious, Derrick, because when it comes to confidence, right? Like you can have a quiet confidence and you can have someone who's like loud and confident. So if you were to pick one over the other, which one would you go for?
I don't date loud women. Yeah, I think confidence is so subtle. And it's more in mannerisms and kind of how you walk, how you talk to people, your respect for
Mm.
people. That it's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's not it's not it's not flamboyant, right? It's like it's a very it's subtle, right?
Gotcha.
It's, it's
Okay.
it's very subtle.
I agree, Derek. I was gonna say confidence next. I feel like the best thing about when a woman is confident is like is not actual like them being loud. It's like the slicky part of it. Like you're slick with it. Yes, you're the best looking girl in this room, but it's just that little comment you may say that'll catch us off guard and be like, okay, talk your talk. You feel me?
Talk your talk.
Talk your talk.
That's what
Talk
makes it,
your talk.
Talk your talk.
like,
Like, all
that's
right.
honestly that's what separates you from the others. It's the way you talk, it's the banter. You know, a lot of women get approached, but they don't know how to approach men. Back and forth. So that also has to do with confidence as well. Men have to have a mouthpiece in some way to get a girl. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but if,
Whereas
Mike has the
women
biggest,
don't. Is that what you're
Mike has
saying?
the biggest
yes,
mouth.
the majority women do not have game, and it's 100% proven that it all relies on their looks. Like it really just all relies on their looks. Some of them can say something slick, and we would just be like, "Whoo, that got me off guard. I love you." You know what I mean? So
I
yeah,
love you.
but it's so rare because we don't see it often. So once we see it, we're just like, okay, cool. She's, I like this. I like this energy. You see, me and you, we could be superstars. We got to keep
Ooh,
that energy.
ooh.
Oh wow, I love this. I love this. So, Mike, if a girl was to come and like shoot her shot with you, like that's confidence, right?
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't even be upset. Like if she looks the
Yeah,
part,
yeah.
if she does, honestly, even if she doesn't look the part, I'm like, thank you, I appreciate it. We'll go away. But I'm like, I respect you.
We'll
I
go
like
away.
it. I'm like, I would just talk to her. Like, I like the energy, but I'm not interested. If now she
Yeah.
looks the part, I would be like, okay, really, okay. Like there's a different tone. I'm like, so this is what you do. This is how you come in, because now it's different. So now I know it's reciprocated. So
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
our relationship or the dynamic of whatever is going to start is going to be reciprocated in a way because she does things that are deemed masculine when it shouldn't have any type of um correlation to a man.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna flip it over to Derrick, right? Because Derrick, I know something that you said as your number two was like the traditional gender roles and stuff. So based on that whole traditional gender roles thing, does that affect how you see it when a woman approaches you, or that's like two different things for you?
I think, one, it doesn't, well, to answer the question directly, it doesn't affect it.
Okay.
But I think, yeah, it doesn't affect who initiates the conversation, right? If the boxes are checked, right, then it's lit. Let's just do it,
Okay. Okay.
right?
Cool.
Attraction, interest, compatibility. If those three boxes are checked, if I approached or she approached me, then we good.
Okay. Cool. Cool beans. Yeah, I just wanted to like double check on that one because I think because you know what it is when I hear people saying traditional gender roles, I think it's a spectrum, right? Like there's some people who are on the extreme, 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 where they're like, oh, everything traditional. Like, oh, if she, like, I had a guy friend of mine tell me, oh, yeah, if a girl was to approach me, like, that's just not how it's done where I come from. Like, so that's why I wanted to check with you, like, where exactly you were on that spectrum. So I see you. Cool.
Yeah, and Michelle, and like even to that, it's also like and I think like I firmly believe this is kind of the problem with our generation
Mm-hmm.
and dating these days is it's because it is a spectrum, right? That we kind of men want an ambitious woman that works, that's a software engineer, but
Mm-hmm.
also you also want her to be um but also want her to be submissive,
Submissive, right.
right? So,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you want a boss, like she's independent, she's a boss,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you also want this other component of like submissiveness out of it's like, yo, you can't have it both ways. Pick one. Either like yeah, you know, yeah, so it's that, and it's such a delicate balance, and this is where compatibility comes in, right? Because there's some women who they're just bosses, like that's
Right,
just who they
right,
are,
right.
they're leaders, right? And and it takes a certain type of man to actually actually to be with them,
Yeah,
right? And if you're
yeah.
not, and it's not for everybody, right? So if you're not, so if you recognize that it's not for you, it's like, no, just respectfully step away because that ain't you, and go
Yeah,
find what you want.
yeah, yeah. And I think something I want to do too is like for people who are listening, because I can tell, Derrick, even when you were about to say like the word submissive, right? Like I guess the way society and culturally like people have taken that word, it's become such a bad word to say, right? So I did want to say for people who are listening, coming from like the Christian background or like perspective, like the Bible does tell women that they have to be like submissive to their husbands and stuff like that. I think what that submission looks like would vary, right? Like from person to person, because so for
Yeah,
example, coming back to what you were saying, Derrick, where let's say you do have a woman who's making all this money, right? Like she has a great job and she has all this money,
yeah,
and maybe you have a good job but you're not making the type of money that she is making. Like the way that some people could see submission, some man who's like on the extreme end of like the spectrum could be like, oh, just because she makes so much money, there's no way that she's ever gonna want to listen to what I'm saying, right? Whereas another person could be like, oh, I mean, I still think that as long as we're making decisions as a joint, whatever unit, like if you're married, like if we're still making decisions as a joint unit, that's still like her being submissive. So yeah, so I think it would just vary from person to person what submission looks like. But to Derrick's point, I think it does take, you just need to know what kind of man you are or what kind of woman you are, because some women actually can't stand it when a man makes less than them, and vice versa. Some men can't stand when a woman makes more than them. So it takes a special type of person for sure.
look, and Michelle, and I think, and that's okay,
Hmm.
right? That's literally okay. And these are, I think, we make people having preferences seem like a bad thing these days.
Right,
Like,
right.
like we're all supposed to be the same people. No, like, if that's what you want, that's what they want, and it's okay. And just one other thing too that you said that I just want to, I think submission, right? The man, from a biblical perspective, the man has to be woman to be submissive
Right.
to the man, but there's also the place where the man has to be submissive to God.
Ooh, preach, brother Derrick. Okay.
Oh.
Mike,
So
say
I mean,
amen. Say amen, Mike.
Amen. Amen.
Mike is the real pastor, right? So if he's not anchored, and if he's not anchored,
Hmm.
how do you expect your wife to anchor in you if he's not if you're not anchored to the source?
Hmm. And you know what? Actually, on that note of submission, I don't know what, I think it was like some pastor or something who was talking about this. And yeah, like basically it was at a singles conference, and this pastor was saying, women, like you need to, while you're dating someone, right? And this was at church. So while you're dating someone, you need to look at this guy and be like, can I submit to him? Because if you know right from the jump, right, like while you're in a relationship, you can never submit to this man, then maybe that's not a relationship for you. So there is that other thing where, yeah, like if you can only submit to someone who's a leader, then if you end up with someone who is like the opposite of a leader, then maybe it goes back to that compatibility thing that Derrick mentioned, that maybe that's not the right relationship that could go long term, like marriage. So Wanted to
Mhm.
add that piece. Mike, let's hear your next one because I think confidence had come from Derrick's end.
I'll probably say cooperative or like patient, you know, because a lot of the time, like I would say when you're approaching a girl, they want to see the outcome right there and then. But you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. We all know that, right? Like in terms of progression and just moving on in like the relationship aspect. So I'll probably say that cooperative. So when you're coming, that's just two things. So when you're speaking to somebody and then
Mm-hmm.
everything's going well, the conversation is flowing right. You know, no one is trying to step on each other's toes. You know, and it doesn't have to do with any feminine or masculine energy here. That's just like a trait that you're cooperative. Can we work as a team together? You know,
Mm-hmm.
similar to what you were saying before, and the patience is right there with it as well. You know, are you patient enough to wait for me to say what I have to say, and then you get your turn? You know,
Mm.
nowadays, really, if you're gonna be honest, most of the time only the female's opinion is heard. You know, R.I.P. the Godfather, Kevin Samuels, right? He was one of the only
Wait. What did you call him? What did you call him?
Godfather. That's what he called himself. I'm just saying, R.I.P. the
The
Godfather.
Godfather.
The Godfather. I didn't even know that he called himself that. That's so funny. Okay, go ahead. Yes, but R.I.P. for real.
So he was one of the only men to actually give you the opinion of what a male's perspective, right?
Mm.
And he got a negative connotation of bashing black women. That's what they said. But
Mm-hmm.
I think if you really look beyond it, it really wasn't coming from to bashing black women. It was just to keep black women and black men accountable of each other's actions. Because he first started off bashing black men, you know,
I
and
see. Okay.
he went viral for supposedly bashing black women, but they're all clips, right? At the end of the day, he wanted all of us to just be accountable for our action and just let each other know, like, oh, if you want this, then you won't be able to get this. You know, everything is a give and take in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
As you were saying, you know, if a woman's a boss lady, right? Um, she most likely won't look at someone under her. She believe in the idea of a ideology of hypergamy, like only dating up, right? When
Mm-hmm.
a man does not believe in the ideal of hypergamy, only in the sense of beauty, right?
Mm-hmm.
But men settle all the time. Women are not likely to settle.
Hey man,
So
you need to be the next Kevin Samuels. Man.
I don't want to be the next Kevin Samuels. I'm just saying, cooperation and just like, patience and all of that, they all like linked. So like right now we're in a soft spot in the sense of media where we lost the voice of portraying male's opinion,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, not everything he said was true. Some of the stuff he says was just for the views, for the clicks, for the bait. But that goes along with social media. But a lot of the things that you said, if you take some time to think about it, you can just like, okay, cool. I see where he's coming from.
Okay. And I have a few questions on just like some things that you said, right? So, do you, I guess, in as few words as possible, like, could you say why you feel that men's opinions are not being heard? Like, because I know something you said was that, like, right now it just seems like what women say is what, like, we hear about, or like the voice that people listen to.
Well, if we be honest, social media is primarily women. As an engineer, you have to know certain statistics, right?
Okay.
Uh, we live in a world dominated with women, right? And if a woman is shunned in any way or category, right,
Mm-hmm.
it will be nothing. You know, men are in a sense of like they don't really care too much about media. They care about the hard work. Just getting they care about statistics. And women usually are the voice in this day and age, right?
Okay.
That's real.
There's tons of female podcasts like The View, um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Real, so many podcasts, Ellen DeGeneres,
Mm-hmm.
Wendy
Mm-hmm.
Williams show.
Yeah, yeah.
It's rarely where you ever see a podcast or a show for a man that even talks about the relationship aspect.
That's real.
Because most of the time, if you do see a male show, it's more regarding to a late night show, just showing about like basketball,
Right. Right.
or like
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so they don't, in a sense, they don't take men serious in that aspect, right? So, like I said, that's the reason why I said we lost the voice in that sense. He's honestly a pioneer. So now I see certain people starting to follow his footsteps in a sense of just speaking out for men and
Yeah.
letting women know how it feels to be a man.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you know what? I actually really like what you said. And I guess even the spirit of the podcast, I try to like have guys come on here because, like when I do episodes with just ladies, right? It's great because we have opinions and we can like share them. But I think there's also that missing piece where I
Yeah.
rarely hear guys talking about relationships or relationship stuff. So I wanna kind of like bring some guys' views. And also this is not to say that all men are the same. Like it's not going to be that all men think like Mike and Derrick, but at least we get to hear things from the other side. And I will say that sometimes these things are actually really hard to hear, right? When you hear a man say something, it can be like, I don't know, you're stepping on my toes. But, it is good to hear like both sides of the story. So I like that.
The only reason why I say it shouldn't be like that,
Mm-hmm.
step on the toes, because we have to understand men give access to relationships and marriage, right? You will not be married or be in a relationship without the man taking the step.
And that's period.
But do you know what though? That's the thing, right? Where it's such an interesting, I guess. Okay, so I've seen on social media like
Mhm.
women. Okay, well, once in a while you'll see a woman get down on her knees to ask a man to marry her. And I guess maybe in one of those videos the guy said yes, but in one of those videos the guy actually walked out of the room, right?
Yeah,
That's
Um,
that's that's a disaster.
but in that,
that's
to
a
be honest,
disaster. Yeah.
I see what you're talking about, but in
Hmm.
that sense, it's almost blasphemy, and it's an anomaly for that to happen. So I only really focus on like the majority. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It should not be a a problem
Hmm.
when women are bashing men and all this, but at the end of the day, a man has to choose for you to be his girlfriend, to be his fiance, and for you to be his wife.
I
So
see.
Period.
those are the steps. There's no arguing behind anything. You can be bitter, you can do all of this. At the end of the day, you want to be married, or you want to be a girlfriend, or you want to be in some aspect of a relationship. And it comes through the man. If a woman forces relationships, she feels like she forced it upon him, and then
Disaster.
you know what I mean?
Disaster.
Michelle, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? If a woman feels like she forces it upon you, then she's like, "All right, we got to do it anymore because I feel like it's not genuine," and it's
For
Mm-hmm,
not.
sure.
mm-hmm. And
For sure.
here's the thing, right? I like, and Derek, I'll also give you a chance to talk because I know you were saying disaster a lot, so I really want to hear what you have to say. But like, what you guys are saying, I like it resonates with me because for me, and I've been told that maybe it's because of like my upbringing or whatever. Like growing up, I'm Zimbabwean. Growing up, what I know is that the man is the one who asks you to be in a relationship. The man is the one who asks you to marry you, right? And so for me, even the whole thing, and I like asking people like what their thoughts are on like women even like say approaching a guy like to shoot their shot. I am
Mhm.
also of the just because of how I was raised, like I was not raised to shoot the shots, right? But I've had conversations with women who say, you know what? Like in this day and age, you can ask him, will you, take this relationship to the next level, right? So because I think also what you mentioned, Mike, especially on this like patience thing and all of that stuff, sometimes I guess there's a feeling that maybe certain stages are, taking too long. So for example, let's say you start talking to someone today, right? Like you're in the talking stage and then the talking stage goes on for say like 9 months, right? Like at that point, like the girl, like how would you want the girl to handle that? That's when some girls come to you and they're like, yo, Mike, what's the story? It's been 9 months, right? So I guess also it depends on how you are asked about it. Maybe you're just being asked in the sense of like, okay, where's this going? But you're
Mhm.
not being asked like, okay, Mike, be my boyfriend,
Yeah,
right?
well, I say in a sense it should always be a suggestion, right?
Okay.
There's no count or like limit in terms of getting to know somebody or
Mm-hmm.
forming a covenant or love. You know what I mean? So like
Right.
it shouldn't ever. If, like I said, patience is one thing. You should never feel like you're rushed, right? If you feel
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
your time is being wasted, then leave. You have access to leave. You know what I mean?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You
And
always
that's fair.
You choose to stay, you have to keep yourself accountable. Within the talking stage, if you give up the things that you're basically known for, or like women are known to give, like a men, like I said, men give access to relationship and marriage, right? Women give
Mm-hmm.
access to kids and sex, right? We
Right,
need that.
right.
So within the talking stage, if you're giving that up to a man, you sold yourself short already. He took half of your value in the sense
Period.
he took half of your value and now he's going off and running with it because he never put a ring on you or he never.
Oh, damn. Oh my gosh. Yo, do you know what? Like, I think I really appreciate you guys saying this, right? Because I think that, uh, and again, guys, people have different values. So I'm not here on this podcast to tell people how to live. But what you just said about like, when are you giving away certain things, right? Like, after you've given away all of that to somebody, and they haven't even said, okay, let's be in a relationship or whatever, then I guess what's there to look forward to? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
as a logical human being, forget that if he's a man or not. If you give somebody half of your money and say, okay, um, when are you gonna give me back the rest of it? He's gonna be like, you gave me half of it already. I don't need to give anything. I'm gonna give it to you when I want. You know what I mean? Or I'm gonna just get up and leave. You know?
Wow. Yo, that was so, man. I really
Break it
appreciate you
down,
saying
like,
that.
I could
I
break it
really
down
do.
in economics too, and opportunity costs and all of that stuff. If we really want to get down to it, it's just basic logic. Women just need to stop selling themselves short and look at reality of things. A lot of
Go.
the time they're hopeful. Men are not pessimists. They're realists. So they see
Mm.
pain,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they look at the actual situation, right? And they don't think they're gonna try to fix it or make situations better. Because I think women sometimes when they come into a relationship, they have the mindset of, oh, I'm gonna fix these things, I'm gonna fix him, I'm gonna make this better. No, see him for what he's worth currently, right? Vice versa. And if he's not, then leave. But if you wait
Mm.
6 months in a talking stage and the values that you want within a man is not within him because he made you wait 6 months, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
you gave up sex. It's on you. You got to keep yourself accountable. And I think
Mm-hmm.
if a woman says, "Oh, sex is um not where my value lies," and that's a lie, because at the end of the day, once you give it up, that's when the man changes. You see the man starts to change. That's where your value lies. Just because you say that's not where your value lies,
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
remember, everybody can have different values that
mm,
they value, but
Right,
your
right.
value
Mm-hmm.
lies. Remember, your value is not even created by you; it's created by the consumer, right?
ooh,
The
my
Oh,
man.
goodness.
dang. Oh, you're preaching economics,
So,
Ooh,
like
so,
spiritual stuff.
so men are the consumer, and if you see that men want this, you know, the economy wants this, they're gonna go after
Mm-hmm.
that every time. And within that aspect of, say, a woman, a man wants sex, and they keep going after that, right? We put the value on sex, on your body, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's hard
Mm-hmm.
to rip off a tag when the value's already there. It's there. You can't get rid of it. It's there, right? So that's just like, dang, I can't give this up. And that's why a lot of women play hard to get. Because they know
Right, right.
give it up, the man will start acting weird. Some men don't. But that's when you get lucky. So
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm saying. That's why men also look down on women that are promiscuous. So it does hinder your value. A woman will not just come out there and just tell you how many um partners she slept with. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
But
Yeah,
a
yeah.
man, a man's partners is assumed that he's a dog. He really doesn't care. You see, so that's where in your aspect of the value between a man, you've already said he's a dog, and you know what? You gave him that's a disclaimer. You gave him a pass already because he's a dog. All men's are dogs. So now that's a disclaimer. You gave him a pass when it shouldn't be.
Man. Ooh, you a drop. Ooh, the wisdom that is being dropped here is
Well,
incredible.
well, yeah,
Derrick, let's hear you.
yeah.
Mike, finish, man.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
Please.
Yeah, I'm finished. But this is all correlating to the enlightenment that I'm talking about.
that whole thing that you were talking about, there was so I love just like watching some of Steve Harvey gives like the greatest advice, especially to women, right? And I was watching this one of his YouTube segments or whatever, and I think some girl was saying like, oh, I've been living with my boyfriend for like years, say 5 years, right? And he hasn't married me, right? Like he's kind of like dragging his feet or whatever. And Steve Harvey, and this is a very strong statement. So anyway, but Steve Harvey was like, why would a man want to buy the cow when he's just been getting the milk, right? And that's that whole thing with like, okay, like you've been doing this. So what's the if
Mhm.
someone has been living with you for 5 years already, why do they need to give you that marriage thing, right? And like I said, it's a strong statement. You know, people are like free to live how they want to live, but just wanted to drop that in there as well.
Honestly, I don't really feel like it's a strong statement. It's reality. You know what I
It's
mean?
real.
It's
Yeah.
real.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it should be harsh to anyone's feelings. It's real. This is what's happening. Look at it. Because if someone's to take $50 from your pocket, you're gonna react, right? If
Mm-hmm.
someone is literally stealing milk from you every single day and stealing energy from you, you're gonna let it go? It makes no sense.
Right. Because I mean, even in the sense of like living with someone, right? Like you're the one who's like cooking, you're doing the laundry, you're cleaning, like you're like, you know what I mean? Like what's the difference between today while we're not married and like tomorrow after like we're married? There's no difference because you've been cooking, you've been cleaning, you've been doing the laundry, So yeah. Derrick, you were saying disaster, and that was the point when Mike was talking about the whole thing of like, not imposing relationships or marriage on men. So can we hear more about that?
Man, look, I think Mike has set it off, bro. And then Mike, bro, I love you, man. Like this is I think this is something that people need to hear, right?
Mm-hmm.
As somebody that I have a lot of, I have 10 siblings in total. I have three younger sisters, right? 20 three younger sisters on my mom's side, four and five in total, right? 23,
Okay.
21, 18, 17. And I think one thing that women need to hear a lot is when we talk about you have the liberty to leave. You always have the liberty to leave, right? Always have the liberty to
Mm,
leave.
okay.
If you don't want something like your voice is like your voice is always heard and it's important. If you don't want to be with someone because they're not giving you what you want or
Mm-hmm.
the life you envision for yourself, leave, right? And there's no ifs, ands, or but around it. And I think it's so hard to leave that sometimes we finagle it, but that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing. It's like, yo, just get out, just get out of it. That's it. And the same thing,
Exit stage
same
left.
like just go, right? And go figure it out, right? But it's just so, I mean, I do this also where I don't starting afresh is always difficult, right?
Right, right.
I don't you're tired of telling people how many siblings you have, your favorite color. So it's like, I'm gonna just hang with this one and see if but no, it ain't it. Get out. So that's the first thing. Second thing, another thing that Mike said, which I think is so important, is yeah, black men. I think in the media, the black man's voice is not heard, and I think what black men will have kind of the highest suicidal rate in the black community or something, some stat out there like that, and it's true because our voices are not heard. Everything is tailored towards women, right? Rightfully so, but I think we need to create more spaces for black men to have some of these conversations, and the perspective being heard. And I think that's what as much as people hated, that's what Kevin Samuels did. And it's funny because he was bashing men when he initially started out, and I didn't like watch him too much, but he was when he initially started, but he didn't go viral. He didn't blow up because of that. Or when he
Okay.
was doing that. But when he started talking about women,
Viral.
and women, when he was holding men accountable, that was nothing. But when he started holding women accountable, then it's like, oh man, because it's not something that's familiar. Men being held accountable, men being bashed, men being or whatnot. That's familiar. Everybody know that, so it's expected. Niggas ain't, excuse my language, niggas ain't shit, so that's expected, right? But when he starts saying, hey, you have three kids and you want this kind of man, realistically, that don't make no sense from a man's perspective. Then it's like, oh no, but you should be no. That's real. That's good feedback. So different perspective. But I think that should create more spaces for black men's their voices to be heard.
Oh, I love it. Thank you guys for sharing all of this. And I'll also say like with Kevin Samuels, I think I watched maybe like just two of his videos that I had bumped into and stuff. But I do know that like I saw someone had posted that he died, and I went on his page,
Mhm.
and yeah, man, like I've never seen such mixed reactions. People were fighting in the comments in his last video, because basically some people really hated him, right? And then some people really loved him. And so yeah, that was a very he was an interesting figure in that sense.
Interest is the word. Interest is the word.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and people,
controversial.
and I
Controversial
think,
figure.
yeah, controversial. I love that. And I think also one of the videos that I watched of him, I was able to like just like watch the whole thing and I get what he was saying. But I do know that like in another video that I was watching, it didn't sit very well with me. And it's not that I didn't want to hear what he had to say about women. I just think that, sometimes it's also in how you deliver something, right?
Yeah,
And
his
also I think
delivery's off.
yeah, and I think also it's just
Yeah.
our perspectives, or like what we've gone through shapes certain things. And I think there was a video where he was having a conversation with this woman, and what she was trying to tell him was like, don't generalize all women and just put them in a bucket. So because of that, I think that video, that the other video I watched, it was a big generalization where like I didn't fit into what he was saying. So like I couldn't, keep listening to that. But anyway, yeah, I think that was really cool that you guys shared, the
Yeah.
whole black man's voice thing.
Yeah.
So I
I
love
have
that a
something
lot.
to say about that, Michelle. In terms of generalization, like one thing you guys or women have to also understand, and also
Mm-hmm.
men, right, is that the generalization is to the majority. You are an anomaly compared to what he's saying. So
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
not to you. Do
Absolutely.
not feel like you're a victim if the shoe does not fit. Now, if you're trying
Right,
to
right,
force,
right.
you're trying to force your foot into a size 8 and you're a size 10, you know what I mean? It doesn't make no sense. So
Mike
now,
on a
now
roll,
that you're
bro. You
trying
on a roll today.
I know,
you know,
I
you're
know.
trying to
You on
He's
a
protect
roll
spitting
today.
facts.
no, you're
Let's
trying to
go.
this let's be honest, this is a big thing in society we have to do. If you're trying to, what's his thing? Protect your sister or something like that, that's not keeping herself accountable, because we see it all the time. You have a
Mm-hmm.
female best friend that you tell her that the ex-boyfriend she's with is terrible, and at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day she runs back to him. So now at the end of the day, what are you supposed to do? Because she's not holding herself accountable. So the only person
Right.
that can hold her accountable now is the men. So the men are gonna tell her like, yo, if you're doing this and doing that, it's gonna affect
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
your value in the dating market. And that's what it really was. It's all trickle down economics. If you break it down, anything you do will have an effect. Like anything you do will have a reaction.
Mike,
Right, right,
man.
right. I like what you said a lot, because I think what also happens is that when people watch certain things. So for example, like I said, I watched one of his videos. I couldn't finish it. I couldn't relate to it, but I also didn't post it and just say, "Oh, he's going off on women," because I really like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there are two types of people on the internet, right? Like if you see something that doesn't relate to you, just keep it moving. And then there's some people who will write a whole PhD thesis on the Instagram story of like, oh, this man and everything that he's saying is problematic, but it might just be because it doesn't apply to
Yeah.
you, like the person who's watching.
Spot on.
So
You
I
you know
agree.
how they say the truth hurts. You know how they say the truth hurts, right?
Right, right.
Truth only hurts because you have to look within yourself and then
Mm,
enact the change. You feel me? That's why it
let's
Right.
hurts.
go.
Because you
Let's
know
go.
you know what I mean? It's not because the person is coming from you. It's because it's reality. And then you have
Mm-hmm,
to,
mm-hmm.
because it's easier to talk crap about somebody, right? Than to get up and then fix your life and say, I'm going to make 100K today.
Yo,
Ooh,
you're right.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Mike, Mom, Mike. Oh, let's
So,
go, bro. Let's
like,
go.
your female counterparts have to keep themselves accountable. There's so many men. I'll tell you this. There's so many men within them, like the male species, that keep men accountable for their actions or where their value lies. If a man is a bum,
Are you
it
a
will
bum,
be
bro?
known. It will be known that ET, I don't know if you know ET, who ET is, or Jordan Peterson will tell them you're less of a man because you're unsuccessful. Because a man's real value really revolves around his prestige and how his
Mm.
character, how females look at them,
Woo.
how you expect someone to respect you, right, in society when you have no respect yourself. Because look at you.
Look,
Woo!
look. Talk,
Oh
talk
my
that
God.
talk.
Now
Talk that
that now
talk,
that
bro.
Whoa.
but now that's
It's
harsh. But now that's harsh,
but
right?
that's real. But that's
But
real.
but that's
And I think
reality.
we talking about shorty, but I think that, our brothers need to hear that too. Like that's real. That's facts. Go ahead.
That is so true. And you know what? I love that you actually pointed that out because, well, I'm a woman. And so I really don't know what men are hearing. Like, if there are people who are actually talking to them about this stuff, right? Just because I guess it doesn't apply to me. But it's really good to know that there are people out there who are also holding men accountable. So I think to Mike's point, what you're saying is it's not that like this I guess Kevin Samuels, right? It's not like he was biased and he hated women per se. It was just like maybe it wasn't taken well because it was a man speaking to women.
Mhm,
But to your point, sometimes it's really that the truth hurts.
mhm.
So yeah, dang, that was good. Guys, we're gonna have to put a pin in this conversation and we'll continue it in part 2. So make sure that you come to episode 21 and play that next week so you can hear the rest of the conversation with Mike and Derrick. Thanks, guys. Peace.